What's going on, citizens? So you're wondering, how do you start getting better bounty hunting missions? You've just started doing bounty hunting and you're trying to work out what the heck to do. So I'm going to give you a really basic guide on how to start it out, what to expect, as well as how to build up better bounties as you go on. So let's dive into it. Firstly, you want to click F1 to open your Mobiglass. Once you've done that, you're going to be presented with this home screen. Now, don't worry about all this sort of stuff unless you've got a crime start, then it's sad times. However, at the bottom here, you're going to see contracts. We're going to click on that. This is going to give you a list on the left side, but the one we want to focus on right now is Bounty Hunter. When you open this, you're only going to see a few if it's for the first time, and you're going to see certifications as well as evaluations. Now, the more of these you do, the better bounties you are going to receive. So let's say I did this active bounty evaluation. Once I've done that, I would get something called reputation, and you can see this on the far right tab here saying rep and Bounty Hunters Guild. And you can see as we level up and rank up our reputation with the Bounty Hunters Guild, we start to access better bounties. So if I flick back to my contracts, even though I haven't done too much bounty hunting in this wipe, you can see I've got a few at 15k, I've got a couple more at 15k, and every now and then I'll get ones for 30k, as well as like here 25k, which is a MRT based tasking. Okay, so you will get the opportunity to level this up. Sometimes you will have to pay a fee of 500 credits or 1,000 credits just so you get more access to these bounties, but get them done. They are very, very simple to do, and your first few are really, really easy. So let's talk about ship and equipment that I recommend. So when it comes to personal equipment, there are no set items that you should use. It does have some preference to it. However, I'm going to give you my recommendations to the weapon systems as well as the armor that I like. Firstly, your personal rifle. Now I recommend the P4 AR rifle. This thing is very, very good. It's by Bering, and for me, I wouldn't change it for any other rifle, and the reasons why are pretty self-explanatory. Now, firstly, you can mount a holographic sight on this, as well as the ×4 and the flashlight, and there's a few other little bits too. But the main reason I use this is because a lot of the NPCs you come against actually use this, which tells me one thing: it gives me good ammunition replenishment, so I don't constantly have to be going out of my way to go and find ammunition for it. So I definitely recommend using this as a basic rifle. Yes, it's 4,653 credits, but it's definitely worth it, and it is an accurate rifle to use. When it comes to sidearms, I don't really use them that much in the game. However, the Arclight Night Stalker pistol is pretty decent, 761 credits. Again, I don't use these enough to really give you a clear recommendation. It would come down to personal preference. When it comes to your second weapon system, I definitely recommend using a sniper rifle or any form of long-range battle rifle. That way, if you have a contract where you can engage the individual at distance, you're going to be able to do that without having to get stuck in to a full-on firefight. So give it a try. As for shotguns or anything like that, not really my sort of thing, don't seem too effective, but when it comes to CQB environments, it might be worth getting in that case. So facility-based bounty hunting contracts or HVTs where you have to clear out a multitude of rooms, etc. But for everything else, I always carry a sniper rifle. When it comes to armor, it definitely depends on how much your budget is with credits. Now, I can recommend the Orc armor. This stuff, 3.2k, is pretty decent, as well as the ADP. Again, that is very, very good armor. I've used that quite a lot of times. But if you can't quite get that, I'd go for the PAB one. It's still decent for what you need to do. Things that I wouldn't recommend are the more exposed armors and the ones that are just pretty cheap. I'd definitely avoid them, because if you come up against a multitude of enemy when you're doing a bounty hunting mission, you don't want to start taking a lot of fire and just dying whilst you're on the ground, because you're going to lose everything. It's going to be annoying, and it's just going to be one of them Star Citizen days. But if you can afford and you have got the time to save up for it, I would go for the ADP or armor to start with. Get the torso, legs, head, and arms. And once you've done a few contracts and a few bounties and you've got a little bit of money to play with, I definitely recommend the Morozov armor. Yes, it is very expensive, however, it's definitely worth it. And once you have saved enough credits through doing different contracts, different bounties, I definitely recommend the Morozov armor. Yes, it is very expensive, however, I've got into some pretty tricky situations where I've been shot at from different angles, the rounds have actually impacted me, and it's kept me going just that little bit longer, which can make the difference. Now, if you want to try and find this stuff pretty easy, just come to one of the terminals in an armor shop or a gun shop and you should be presented with a page like this. Something I definitely recommend getting when you do this is under consumables, the med pens. Get plenty of med pens. Alright, you are going to need them, as well as a couple of oxy pens just in case you need it for whatever reason. Alongside this, to support these consumables, get plenty of food and plenty of water. And in some places like this, the consumables, you will find MREs as well as water. So I definitely recommend stocking up on them before you go out to do quite a lot of different contracts. That way you don't have to go back to a station whenever in need. Now, whenever you're doing all this sort of stuff, it's very, very simple. All you need to do is drag and drop your undersuit onto your character. Once you've done that, you can drag and drop each individual armor piece onto the character as well. With the weapons, you're going to drag and drop them onto your bag, just like so. Now, with your ammunition, very, very similar, although if you hold it out, you're going to get these numbers just here. You want to place these into these positions. You don't want them just sat in your bag, so you're going to get them in them positions. With your med pens, you're going to do the same, making sure that you are fully stocked up, good to go. You've got enough med pens on the side here, just in case you take any damage. With your food and your water, all I'd recommend is just putting it in your backpack for when you need it, as well as potentially having a different sight. Like I've got a ×4 sight here for the bearing, so I just whack that in there and I switch it as of when I need to. But start off with, I always have the holographic sight on here, as well as a little torch just on the front. Now, one last thing I'm going to recommend that you should have on your person is either the Max Lift tractor beam, which I'll put up a picture of now, or you can also get just a simple multi-tool and put a True Hold tractor beam attachment on it. I only say that just in case you need to tractor beam and lift any sort of boxes or materials after you've completed your bounty onto your ship. It's just going to help you out and save you a lot of walking around. When it comes to ship, there is no real gold standard. Again, it comes down to personal preference. For me, when I'm doing air-to-air dogfighting bounties, I do like to use my Aegis Gladius Valiant. Now, it is a light fighter. Now, the drawbacks with that, the shielding as well as the fuel. So I can't just jump to different bounties constantly. When I need to be able to do that, if I'm doing quite a few bounties, I'll use one of my Hornets, specifically the Super Hornet Mark 1, as this thing packs a lot of firepower and it's great in dogfighting. But if you've got any basic starter ship, you will be able to do starting bounties without an issue. You're just going to have to refuel quite a bit. Now, if I'm doing more of a well-rounded bounty, such as some air-to-airs, some air-to-ground or ground-based activities, I'm going to use my Cutlass Black or my Cutlass Steel. Now, the switch with this is the Cutlass Black has brilliant storage in the box, so you can take all the loot that you get and put it in there, deliver it to a station and resell it, so you're making more credits. However, when it comes to actual multi-crew stuff and doing a little bit of air-to-ground based combat, I do love to use the Cutlass Steel, and this is purely because of the platform mounted guns on the ship, and it can hold out in a dogfight. But if we go back to the Cutlass Black versus the Cutlass Steel, if you're doing dogfights, you're going to want the Cutlass Black, because it's just got a little bit more punch and it seems to handle out a lot better. And that's doing bounty hunting in a nutshell. The more contracts you do, the more rep you get, the more bounties you're going to have access to. Just remember, you will get player bounties as well, down as the suspect apprehension ones. Now, you'll pay a fee of 500 and go out and do them, and they are a lot of fun. But just remember, when you do this, you don't know what ship they're in. You have no idea if they've got backup. So just prepare yourself well before you go and start doing player bounties. Up until that point, just use these, save all the credits you get from them, and start improving your ship and your equipment. After each bounty mission, remember, go to the landing tab and do your repairs, do your restock, and any fuel you need, get it back. You've got to prepare yourself for each and every bounty you do, and pick the right ship, know what you're doing, and get out there and give it a try. If this video helps you, please remember, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and remember, I will be putting out videos of me doing actual player bounties, etc. These will be either solo or crew based bounties. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck in the verse.